Shalom. First, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Kapidash. And we're going to get into a lesson on about, being here today, gone today, here tomorrow, gone tomorrow. Jake like to plan things out on how they going to do, with their career, with their life or whatever. But Jake, and when I mean Jake, I'm talking about you so-called Negro, Latinos, or Native Americans. You never take into account that the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Shah, is in charge of your destiny. You don't take into account what, especially you men of Israel, you don't take into account that maybe the Most High wants you to do something different. Maybe He wants you to do His will and not your own will. But you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans will never learn. You're too stupid, man. The Most High has you blinded. And it's, and to see it, it's like, man, it's sad. Because you can't get out that rut you in because the Spirit's not dealing with you. So you get stuck in this rut thinking you got control of things, thinking, oh, I just need to do this, or I need to tweak this a little better, or I need to go to school, or I need to get a certificate, I need to get a certification. It just goes on and on and on, not taking into account that, you ever thought about that the Most High is in control of this, and He has His own purpose, His own plans for you, man. So you can take about you gonna get the certificate, you might not even make it to that day to even take the test. You can't think 5, 10, 20 years down the road like it's gonna be exactly the way you planned it. Now, can you think that way and say possibly, or Lord willing, that I make it 5, 10, 15 years? Yes, you definitely can say Lord willing. But Jake don't even say Lord willing. Jake think it's on their own strength. And it's not up to you. It's up to Yahweh Shah. Ultimately the Most High, because the power of life and death is in the Most High's hand. Let's get a precept. This is Proverbs 27:1. Boast not thyself of tomorrow. Yeah, don't be boasting about tomorrow. I'm gonna get up. We're gonna get up tomorrow. We're gonna get them hoes. I'm gonna go to work tomorrow. I'm gonna be this, that, and the third. You don't know what the Most High got planned for you for the next day, man. You don't know whether He's gonna have you wake up or not. Whether He's gonna take your health away from you. You just don't know, man. So boast not on tomorrow. Boast not on tomorrow, because hey, tomorrow may never come for you, man. And that's one thing you so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Americans or American Indians got to start realizing, man. The Most High can just get rid of your ass, man, at any given moment. It says, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth. Yeah, you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. Because I was just listening to this one news clip about how, I believe it sounded like 2 northern tribes had planned up to go meet in a park in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. They went up there to go fight it out. But one of the other, guys, they had a gun, and they shot and killed the other guy. And I think both got shot, but one got killed by the gunfire. And I'm sure he had plans on tomorrow too, man. He thought he was gonna, go out here, handle his business, run his fade or whatever they call it, you know, whoop on his brother, you know, another fellow Israelite, and, you know, and he thought he was gonna be able to call it a day, you know, and go on the gram boasting and bragging, you know, go to school bragging about it. But hey, little does he know, man, his ass is in the spirit world right now, you know. So his plans were thwarted by the Most High, man, by Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And now he's in his right mind, you know, knowing that he's an Israelite now, you know. So stop taking today for granted and not put off from day to day, man. Because, you know, this is the time to do the work. You know, this war is about to strike back up with Iran and Israel. You know, Jacob's troubles on the horizon, economic collapse. The economy's under pressure right now with the, you know, high or expensive diesel prices. You know, talking about the world going into a global recession. There's even talks about jet fuel shortages or jet fuel running out in Europe. This is not the time to be fucking off and worrying about yourself, man. This is the time to be worrying about how can you get down with serving Yahweh Shem Yahushua and doing the will of the Heavenly Father, man. This is what this time is all about right now, man. You know? Can you still want things and desire to do some things? Yeah, but you know, and you might possibly do, you know, may want to take a trip or something, but you put all that on the back burner though, man. You know, you get around to it when you can. You know? Hold on, Salaki. Put all that shit on the back burner, man, because now is not the time to be worrying about your 5, 10 year, 20-year goals, man. You know, the famine is coming, man. You don't even know if you're gonna make it past the famine, and you worrying about a damn 20-year goal, man. You talking about retiring. I got 20 years left to retirement. You know, I got 5 years to retirement. You can't be thinking that way when you're in this truth, man. Because you know, like we just read in Proverbs 27:1, boast not on self on tomorrow, roughly paraphrasing, man. You know, don't be boasting on tomorrow, because you don't know what tomorrow gonna bring. You know? Let me see if I can find another precept here. This is James 4:14. He says, where ye now not know what shall be on tomorrow. Yeah, you don't know what the hell gonna happen to you tomorrow, man. I'm saying you don't know, man. It says, for what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time and then vanisheth away. Yeah, because your life is like a vapor, man. You know, you may live, 70, maybe 80. You know, if the Most High really blesses you, you might live past 80, 85, you know? But for the most part, the average lifespan is about 70, man. And some people die, a lot of people die way before then. So, know, as far as being a man of the Lord, or someone who's been watching the prophets out on the highways and the byways, knowing that this knowledge that you have, that where the scripture is telling you, hey, your life ain't nothing but a vapor, man. You know, so the time is to do the work and make not haste. You know, make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, man. Make no tarrying, bro. Let's go to verse 15. It says, for that ye ought to say, if the Most High will, we shall live and do this or do that. So there it is, man. You got to go to the head honcho. You know? You got to go to the boss, man. You got to go to the king, man. The Heavenly Father, man. You know? You know, Lord willing. You know, Most High will, Yahweh willing, that, you know, we're going to see tomorrow, or I'm going to be able to go to work tomorrow and punch in. You know? Who knows, man? That's why you got to get these videos up, go out on the highways and the byways while you can, man. And try to get much of this work you can while it's still available. You know, as far as this YouTube goes, or whatever platform you're using. You know, while you still in health or have some health. You know, while things are still, you know, peachy right now. You know, even though gas is pretty high right now, but you're still able to afford it. You know, food is still kind of high, but you're still able to buy it, though, man. You know, so this is the time to get your ass rolling. You know? You know, you got to get your ass up and get out and do something, man. You know, and doing that, you know, is doing the will, man. Doing the will of Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shah by Hashem Rakabadash, man. You know? Not just out here fucking off and, you know, worrying about playing PlayStation 5, man. You know? Because, hey, like Jake, I read about the 2 Jakes earlier, they got shot, man. You know, they didn't know their life was going, they thought they were going to duke it out in the park, you know, catch a couple licks, go home, and call it a day. And like I said, one is got sent to the spirit world, and the other is probably sitting up in the hospital right now, man. So hey, man, you know, this is the time to get focused about this truth. You know, get you a damn lesson, get you a sign, a stick, get you a garment. If you ain't got no camera, don't worry about it. You got a phone, take it. You ain't got no phone, fuck it, go anyway, man. The Most High sees your works, man. The angels report back to them. They see it. They taking notes. You just gotta bust a move, man, and stop putting off from day to day, man. You know, stalling it. You know, stalling on this work. But I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, man. I pray this video was edifying to the elect. Hang on, man. Things about to get bumpy again, man. You know, I know that's what we waiting on, but let's buckle up, buckle in, and you know, and stay the course, man. But before I get him, give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kabbadash, Shalom.